Hi. I hope that you're having a wonderful evening. I just thought I'd pop on for a little bit and talk to y'all about putting yourself out there. I feel like this part is really dark, so I'm going to play around with some lights. I hope you don't mind. Hashtag this is life and real stuff happens. Okay. I don't want to be like spooky though. Now I'm spooky. See, this is what happens when it's just for funsies. Is that better? I feel like it's dark. Like, well, I mean, my chin's gonna cast a shadow anyway. But I like that. Okay, good. All right. So now that I've got the lighting situation figured out, tilted correctly, you think this was stuff that I'd all check beforehand, but you know, you just do it anyway. Start off with a quote, as always. All right, this one is actually from the SeneGence Planner. If you have it, you know it's amazing, because it is. This one's going to be from the August 19th page, so if you have it, you have it forever and always. So this quote is from Jody Rogers Conte, our CEO and founder. SeneGence independent distributors have an opportunity to help every single woman to make her skin more beautiful and present reading's hard and present her with the opportunity to be financially free, strong, and secure. I'll read that again since I kind of messed it up. SeneGence independent distributors have an opportunity to help every single woman to make her skin more beautiful and present her with the opportunity to be financially free, strong, and secure. I liked that one a lot. I thought it tied in with what I wanted to come on and talk about today. I'm still trying to hydrate, so here's my water. When I talk a lot, I get thirsty, so you know, here you go. I wanted to talk about putting yourself out there because I think that it's something that everybody struggles with. And I know yesterday I did a live about like just getting started and like how, you know, sometimes when you get out of a routine, if you like go on vacation or you're sick or something like that, something like just disrupts your flow and your routine, good or bad, that it can be hard to kind of get back into that routine. And so I have some ideas that kind of carry over from that into just being able to put yourself out there, because both things can be really challenging in their own ways. And I think that it's important to talk about that, because I think that when you start comparing yourself to those who've been around for a while, or success just came all at once, because everybody runs the race at a different pace. And that's okay. Like, I can't explain how much that's okay, because some people they rank really fast, really quick. You know, they found something that works for them really, really quickly. You know, there's all different sorts of formulas, and I think that it's important to talk about those who are a little more introverted, who want to rank and want to be, you know, at that level, at that leadership level, but maybe struggle putting themselves out there. Because the wonderful thing about the SeneGence business is that you can run it, you have the freedom to run it kind of how you want, so long as you are within compliance. You do have the freedom to do it how you want to. There are some people who build their business completely online, through Facebook, through YouTube, through Instagram. There are people who only do in-person demos. There are people who do it a multitude of different ways, and none of which are wrong, because they're all successful. It's about finding the right mix for you. The most important thing, though, is the capacity to put yourself out there, and that can be really, really scary. And I mean, even for me, like, I love doing lives. Lives are like where my like comfort zone is, if you will. I mean, I can talk to people. I'm happy to talk to them. Like, I will talk to them all day if I'm out and about and, you know, I start a conversation with somebody. Like, I'm happy to talk to them. Like, that's totally fine. But I'm also kind of like, I don't know, I don't go out after work, or I'm not involved with different things. Like, I'm not a mom, so like I'm not engaging with a lot of different people all of the time. So sometimes it can be hard for me. I wouldn't say hard, but it can be unique for me that I'm not always constantly meeting new people. But I am very present on social media. That is something that is important to me. And you know, it's important to me to also talk to everybody that that I meet too. And I think that a key thing for me is just, it's the same. It's the same putting myself out there on the social media, and it's the same as having a conversation one-on-one. You know, both kind of get me jittery and nervous for different reasons. You know, and I think that it's a struggle that we all kind of encounter, but I think it's so important to overcome that. I think it's important to overcome, you know, where you want to put your energy. Are you somebody who wants to put your energy in that face-to-face conversation zone? Well, okay, what are you doing to, if you're not comfortable with the social media aspect of things, that's totally fine. Like I said, many women have built their business without that focus of the social media. It's definitely possible to build a business without, I mean, you have to have a presence, but not like a, you know, like that's not a focus area for you. It's very, very possible to do that. And if that's your forte, like what are you doing to have those conversations? Are you wearing your stripes? Are you having conversations with people? And you don't even necessarily have to just be like, I sell Senegence. Like, you don't have to come out with somebody and say it. Just like, how are you organically having conversations with people? Because I view myself as a coach, mentor, somebody who wants to bring out the best in people. So yes, I sell Senegence. Yes, I'm all about how wonderful the product is, and the company and the compensation and the people, and I could go on forever, so I'm gonna stop myself there. I could go on forever, but at the same time, I'm also a people person. Like, I want to have conversations with people, and you know, if they ask me, oh, what are your stripes, like I'm gonna tell them, but I'm not gonna just open with, you know, I sell Senegence, unless somebody specifically points something out on me, like my stripes or my wow bag. I'm not gonna, that's not my starting point, because when I'm out meeting people, I'm just talking to them. Like, I'm just having fun. And, you know, when I think that because I've gotten to a point where I'm very happy with the way that my makeup looks, I'm very happy with the way that I present myself. Are there things that I would like to improve upon? Yes. Am I working on that? Yes. But I think that for women who don't wear makeup or are insecure about makeup, like, they kind of, when they see me, they're like, oh my gosh, your makeup looks so amazing, and like, I want to do that. And I'm like, I can help you with that. Or, you know, like, it's, you know, like, that's my chance to like say, I don't want to sell you the product. I'm not worried about selling the product to you. I want you to be happy when you look in the mirror, because I struggled for years. I struggled for years of being insecure around makeup, being insecure when I looked in the mirror. And I mean, I still am. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that's still a thing, you know, like it's something for all of us. Even, you know, the most attractive people can still look in the mirror and find things wrong with themselves. And I mean, that's just part of culture and society. But that being said, that doesn't mean that that turns me off from helping somebody. And I want to put myself out there. Again, this is when I'm having a one-on-one conversation with somebody. So, you know, when somebody starts telling me, oh, I wish I could do my makeup like that, or, oh, I wish I was comfortable around makeup, like, that is my key to be like, let me help you, because that's what I want to do. Even if I teach them a makeup technique and they go back and they don't end up using Senegence, I mean, they're not going to see the same results necessarily, but the important thing is that they learned something, and now they feel more confident about something that they didn't have confidence with. And, you know, if they can learn to create the look that they're going for, like, that is what I'm about. And, you know, my friends and family and whomever I encounter, if the choice is the right option for them, like, it can change your life, obviously. And it's so wonderful. So that's another problem solver aspect for me. But if you don't put yourself out there at all in the first place, if, you get timid and somebody asks you, and I've done this when I first started out before SeneGence. I let SeneGence change my life, and I say it that way because I was a distributor for a while, and I did not let SeneGence change my life. I was like, okay, I'm selling this, that's fine, like, I'm just doing this thing because it's this thing that I kind of like doing, and, the lips color stays forever, and now I wear lipstick because I wear lip color because it stays forever, and I love it, so, whatever. But, that was before, and I would wear my stripes, like, every other week, I kind of didn't, I wasn't committed, like, I just wasn't. Because I felt awkward around having those conversations. So I wasn't putting myself out there, which meant my business wasn't growing. Like, great, I can sell to my family and friends. Well, okay, that's fantastic. Like, that's great as a hobby. Like, if that's what you're wanting to do and you want to sign up and you just have the discount, which is awesome because you can get the discount from anywhere from 20% to 50%, depending on the size of your order. Like, that's fantastic. That's great. Or if you just want to have that discount so that every 6 months when you run out of, skincare or whatever, that you have the ability to be an active distributor and still get that discount and only place 100 PV order every 6 months. Okay, that's cool. But if you're somebody who is wanting to turn this into a business and create a steady income that's not just oh, hey, my sister ran out of her color correcting tinted moisturizer. Great. I refilled that. I mean, that's cool. That's totally fine. I know people who do that, and that's great. But if you want to build a business out of this company, which you can, and lots of people have, you need to put yourself out there. And you need to be wearing the stripes. That's just part of it. It's really easy to do. I had a team member today who I've already talked to about LipSense and SeneGence and all that kind of stuff, and she knows that this is what I do, and anyway, so it was funny to me because I had originally been wearing my stripes when she first asked me about it, and she didn't know the stripes was a thing, and she was like, oh, are you trying out your LipSense colors again? And I was like, well, no. I said, and she was like, she's like, I just noticed that you changed the colors on your hand. And I said, well, yeah, this is my way to get people to ask me about it. And she's like, oh, that's really smart. And I was like, yeah, it is. And she's like, okay, I get it now. And I'm like, yeah, you pretty much this is just then I don't even have to bring it up. If people bring it up, great. I mean, that's a whole different thing. Having the conversations with people is a whole other thing that we can talk about at some other point. But my point being is you have to put yourself out there. You have to be able to talk about it when people ask you about it. And you have to be able to come to people and, not just shy away from it. Because if you shy away from it, which I am guilty of, I will never say that I'm not guilty of, because it's easy. It's easy to shy away from it. You wear your stripes and somebody asks and you're like, yeah, it's LipSense and I sell it. Oh, look at that shiny thing over there. Yeah, I've done it. I will 110% admit that I have done that. And you know what? Every time I walk away from that conversation, I'm kicking myself in the rear end. And so I don't do it anymore because I got tired of every time I tried to shy away from having those conversations and putting myself out there and putting my business out there. I walked away being like, that could have been another really great customer, or that could have been another team member, or maybe she's in the same position that I was a couple months ago where, I was stuck at my job and I didn't know what to do and I didn't believe in myself. And now that I found this company and been able to be introduced to all of this, now I finally feel motivated and inspired and wonderful. Maybe she needed that opportunity. I'll never know. So it's important to put yourself out there. And I strongly encourage lives. I know that it seems like I am just a big, huge old lover of lives, which I am. But I will admit, every time that I get on, I try to talk myself out of it. I do. It's Friday night. There are plenty of other things that I would... Sorry, I'm trying to close my... See, I get nervous when I do my lives. It's true. I'm a human being too. I get nervous, so that's why I'm fidgety. I'm trying to close my planner. Why am I trying to do this right now? I don't know. Because I have those nerves too. And I'm working on it. You know, but it's practice makes perfect. And, you know, I think about the people that inspire me, that speak so well. So people like Mel Robbins, she's a really, like, I love listening to her. Like, she is so fantastic. If you don't listen to her, you need to listen to her because she's great. She's fantastic. And I'm listening to, on audiobook, The 5-Second Rule, which I know I've talked about because I love it and it's amazing. And I like that part of an example that I will talk about in a second is an example that she talks about in her book. And, you know, it was part of my inspiration for coming out and talking because I feel like, you know, it's really easy, and you hear within like the multi-level marketing circuit, you know, be present on social media, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, yeah, like you super successful, in any of them, because I have a lot of friends who are a part of a lot of different multi-level marketing and network marketing companies. And I can say that like most of them harp on like, put yourself out there, be on social media, have a presence, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's easy to just kind of dismiss that and be like, oh, that person has that type of personality. So, you know, that's them. That's not me. And I think that it's so important because we all have different stories to tell, that it's so important that we, hi Tasha, that we put ourselves out there, because the more we put ourselves out there, the more exposure that we get and the more interaction we get. And, you know, even since starting my YouTube channel, like, there are people watching my videos. I don't know who they are, but they're watching them. And, you know, like, that just helps have that, that dynamic, that I'm looking for. And, I'm a part of a social, media group or on Facebook, called, Social Impactors. It's really fantastic. It's a closed group, but you can find them, and then you have to do like a little questionnaire, and like the information there is just like phenomenal, like, and it's great for any multi-level marketing company or network marketing company or any business that wants to have a presence on social media. It's a great way to just learn different aspects of the business. And one of the things that, you know, I've learned from being a part of that group is that, and through different books that I've read too, is that like you never want to just have a presence on one particular form of social media. So that being said, like if you think of people like, of course they're all, I don't know why I didn't write their names down. Probably because I wasn't thinking about going in this direction when I started this live. But think about people, Oprah. Oprah's a great example. People all know Oprah. Oprah has a magazine. Is she on TV anymore? I don't know if she's on TV anymore. I don't watch a lot of TV. Sorry. But she has a network, right? She has a TV network. So she's got a magazine. She's got a TV network. I think she's still at I don't go to Starbucks. Sorry, I used to. And I know she had like a tea line for a while. Anyway, she's diversified. So that if one thing of hers falls, which it won't because she's like an empress in the sense that she's just got an empire and it's amazing and crazy. But if for whatever reason, if it were to fall through, if the magazines at some point will become obsolete, I'm sure. You know, if that fails, that's okay. She's got this other TV show thing, and she's got the thing with Starbucks, and she's got a book club, I think, too. She's got a whole bunch, she's diversified. That being said, we don't foresee things like Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or Snapchat or I don't even know all the fun things that these kids do these days. You know, what if one of those platforms fails? It's possible. Facebook felt like the whole like data sharing thing, like what if Facebook had just collapsed? It could have. Then what? Then how are you going to run your business? So it's important to put yourself out. Like for me, I am on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. That doesn't necessarily have to be for everybody, but it's so important to put yourself out there. And I think it's important to put yourself out there as a distributor and as a person, which is why when I make my live videos, I have live videos for my my general page, which those have generalized messages. I have my hints of Senegence in there because Senegence is part of who I am, but it's not the only thing that I am. So when I do a live video, like I'll do my little hand wave. I'll always have Senegence products on. I'm also a sharer, so I usually try and wear something or comment to something that I'm doing. Like this I got from my group online boutique that I follow. It's called KE Soul. Fantastic. Their clothes are usually like $30 to $40, and this dress is amazing. Like I mean you can stand up and like it doesn't, now it looks weird. I'm sorry. And like this is from Noonday, which is another multi-level marketing company that works with fair trade products and helps women around the world who create, you know, accessories and then brings them to, and then there are ambassadors that bring them to the United States, and then people buy them and that supports their business. Anyway, there's fantastic things that, you know, I like to share. But on my like general page, you know, that's where I kind of just share super general information. And that's where I really get to do a lot of the things that I like to do, which, you know, one of the joys that I have is doing all of this research and listening to the audiobooks and reading and getting content and sharing that with people, because not everybody thinks the same. So you sharing information with somebody can help them see something that maybe they hadn't seen before, or fill a need that they didn't know that they had. And that's something that one of the biggest compliments that I get from people who watch my live videos is, I'm so glad that you're talking about this. Like that fills my heart with joy when some people is like, I'm not alone in thinking X, or I'm so glad that you brought up this, or I'm so glad that, you know, you feel the same way, or that I'm not the only one. Like that's my goal, is that like we start our conversation so we can fill each other's needs. Like that's what it's about. And then I have, you know, my customer page that I'll go live on and do certain things that are specifically directed towards customers, so specifically Senegence. And then of course I have the team page where I try to have content that's specific to you, but I dump them all on YouTube because I never know what people want. And people who are on my customer page that are maybe thinking about being a distributor might go onto my YouTube page and they go, oh, like this is what Hillary kind of coaches about. Like that's really awesome. So I like to have that diversity on YouTube. Plus YouTube is a search engine. Duh. So if somebody's just typing things, then they find my stuff and then they're like, I want to watch more of her stuff and more of her stuff. Yeah. So an example that I was going to use about putting yourself out there, and because it's scary. It is. It's scary. Like, it's more scary for me to put myself out there for some reason on a one-on-one interaction, because I don't know if you know this about me, and if you've watched my other videos, you probably do. I am very empathetic. I am an empath, so I absorb people's feelings. And rejection is really hard. Like, it's really, really hard. And so when somebody says no to my face, like that's hard. And whether or not, like, because I've had plenty of people be like, you know, I tell them that I sell Senegence, and then they go, oh, I have a cousin that sells X other cosmetic company, or my sister-in-law sells X, you know, cosmetic company, MLM. And I, you know, and I always respond with, that's awesome. I mean, I love that. Like that's great. Like, and if you don't have any interest in buying any Senegence products, you know, or even if, you know, oh, my aunt sells Lip Sense. Oh, I buy my stuff from her. great. That doesn't mean we can't be friends. Like, that's fine. I don't have to, like, that's not my point of this interaction. But that's hard for me when people just, like, then they find out and they're like, oh, that's why you're talking to me. Well, no, I'm not. I'm talking to you because you're a human being, and generally because I don't have anybody else to talk to at this point. Like, you're the like, if I go to an event or something like that, I'm like, at this point, you've spent 5 more minutes with me than anybody else in this room. So that's why I'm still talking to you. But anyway, that is hard for me. But the lives, like, I'm gonna make lives and nobody's gonna watch. Like, nobody's gonna watch my lives. Like, that's how it is. But for me, that's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to think about, like, oh, okay, well, nobody watches my video. Nobody watches my video. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna stop me. Sorry, my cat just cried. He does that sometimes when he knows I'm in my office. He's like, Meh. Anyway, you're welcome for that. Anyway, but and the same thing goes for the conversation. Like, I'm not going to stop having those conversations. Does it suck when somebody just shuts me out like that? Yeah, it does. It really does. But I'm not going to stop having them with the next person. I'm not going to stop talking to people. I'm not going to stop telling them how awesome Senegence is when they ask me about my stripes. Like, that's not what's going to happen. But it's important to remember that each and every experience about being able to talk about Senegence and putting yourself out there is so important. And it doesn't even have to be Senegence related, which is why I was going to talk about my example. So my example, the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. So I was listening to her and she talked about, making hard decisions. And it is a hard decision to put yourself out there. And one of the examples that she had for the 5-second rule, and then how making decisions can impact you and others around you. She used the example of, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I give you the right information, of Amy Robach. I think that's how you say her name. She's on Good Morning America. Again, I don't watch a lot of TV, so I don't necessarily know when this took place, but anyway, as part of breast cancer awareness, Good Morning America was going to do a mammogram on live television, to be like, hey, this is what they're about, like, you go get yourself checks, blah, blah, blah. And they asked Amy to do it. And she was like, no. She didn't want to do it. And she went to go talk to her co-anchor, Robin Roberts, who has had cancer, is a cancer survivor. She's like, I don't know what to do about this. Like, I've never even had a mammogram. Like, I don't know, like, I'm scared to do it, like, why would I do it on live TV, like, all this stuff. And Robin was like, well, that's the point. Like, the point is to get that conversation and to empower women to go get checked out, because if you don't get checked out, how can you know if you have cancer? Like, it could be too late. And the point is that it's not that scary. I mean, is it comfortable? No. But, the point is to get women out there to say, you need to go get checked. You need to have these exams done and show them what it's about. So Amy decides to have the mammogram done. She feels like, all right, I mean, yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to put myself out there, because even if I save one life by having this done, if one woman decides to go out there and get this mammogram done and it saves her life, like, then that experience is worth it. And so she overcomes her fear of doing it. She goes on live TV, has the mammogram. They find cancer in her. Like, she had never had a mammogram done, and if she had not done that, they would not have found cancer, and they were able to get it in time. And, like, that's powerful. Like, I mean, her motivation at that point was to put herself out there to inspire other women, so that something like that, they can catch the cancer early enough. And, that's the point in putting yourself out there, is helping other people find a solution. And you know, I get inspired when I hear that story, because I'm like, when I think about when I get discouraged about making a live and being like, oh, I'm too tired, or I don't want to do it, or I'd rather be doing this, or I could be doing that, or you know, whatever, and try to talk myself out of it, I think about that story, because I have all of this great content. I have all of these, my own anecdotes, others' anecdotes. I'm like, you know, and I try and talk myself out of it. And then I remember, like, what if somebody needs to hear that story? What if somebody needs to know that they're not alone? And by hearing this anecdote of a story of either I've been through or somebody else has been through, that they can see, like, okay, I'm not alone. Like, and just being able to put yourself out there is so important. It's so important in so many different ways. Another thing that I think about, you know, it's hard to get started. And, you know, I talked about this a little bit yesterday in my live, that sometimes just the fear of, like, actually signing on is what holds you back. And I think that a good tidbit that I got from the 5-Second Rule book is, you know, it's you just gotta start. You just gotta go for it. And you know, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous to go live. And I'll be completely honest with you. I start all of my lives with a quote. And that isn't for you, it's for me. That's my way of, like, getting into the zone. Like, because I psych myself up before I hit start. And then I hit start and I'm still super, super nervous. And when I read the quote, it gets me into the zone. It gets me in that place where I'm like, all right, that's a great quote. Okay, I'm going to do this. We're here now. Like, let's go. Let's run with it. And, you know, that's part of my routine. And that's what helps me get going. And, you know, maybe you need something like that. Maybe you listen to a certain song before you get going that gets you jazzed and gets you pumped up before you get live. And, you know, going live, I think, and you don't have to be like me. My goal is to be pretty frequent with lives. I want to be doing ones like 4 to 5 a week, is my goal. And you don't have to necessarily do that. I would challenge you to do at least one live a week. Because, like I said, it's important that people can see you and that they know that you're there. Because you are there, and you're there to help them and find solutions, whether they're, you know, whatever, whether you video yourself making coffee and you're like, this is how I make my Sunday morning coffee, or, you know, this is how I'm gonna quilt a blanket. I don't know how to quilt, but, you know, find something that you love doing to share with others so that they can see that you are a real person and you're not just their Senegence person, or, you know, that you're just going to get online and you're just going to be like, blah, 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 blah. Like, people want that connection. They want to know that you're out there, and you are. So that's okay. But I think about that a lot, and I think about how people can talk themselves out of it because they get scared to be out there. And every fear that you have about doing a live, I have too. I think about, like, oh, well, my hair doesn't look great today. Or, oh, well, I don't have the right space. Or, oh, well, I don't know if I have enough time to do a live. Or, I don't know, like, what if no one watches? Sure. Like, yeah, all of those things are going to happen. You're going to have bad hair days. Your makeup's not going to look great. You're not going to have the right space. Things are going to be happening. You're going to run out of time. Like, all of that's going to happen when you do a live. All of it will happen at some point. I'll tell you that right now. Which brings me to my next point of what would future you do? So you have this business in your head and you want to be successful, right? So think of what your 2 year from now who's successful in running this business, what would they be doing? what would they say? Would they say, why did you wait so long to start putting yourself out there? Why? We could be a lot further along if you hadn't waited so long. Or this future, you're going to be like, I am so proud of you because you put yourself out there and you pushed through, and look where we're at now. Like, that's what I want 2 year from me now saying to me now. Like, that's what I want. I want future 2 years from me now. You know what I'm saying. I want that version of me saying, thank you. Thank you for putting yourself out there and just doing it. Like, you were scared and you were nervous and you didn't know, but you believed and you just pushed through, and here we are, and it's awesome and it's amazing and it's better than you could have even imagined. That's what I want. I don't want future me to be like, okay, yeah, you tried back then, that's cool, but if you would have just pushed yourself over that edge, we could be a lot further along. Because I know that's how I think of myself from a year ago. I'm like, why wasn't I trying harder to do this? Like, why? But you can't look back. You just keep moving forward. So my encouragement to you is to just remember to put yourself out there. And if social media is your venue, then be on every platform you can be on. Be in every zone that you can be in. Like, figure out a way that works for you. What works for me might work for you. It might. I don't know. We're all different people. So what works for me may work for you, and it may not. You may look at the way that I do things and then want to twist it up and make it your own, and there's nothing wrong with that. The biggest piece is just remaining consistent. And, you know, it's not enough to make one live and then not make another one until, like, you have a Christmas sale. Like, that's not enough. If you decide that you want to go into the live thing, which I think you should, regardless of how you decide to attack your business, you should be doing one live a week. And I am not going to ask you to do anything that I wouldn't be doing. So I've already made a couple lives this week, so of course I'm going to sit here and say you can do one live a week. I've done a couple lives and I was sick for the first 3 days of this week. So, you know, it's not easy, but it's simple. It really is. And it's a simple way to grow your business, of just putting yourself out there, of having the conversations, of feeling confident in yourself. And, you know, maybe that might take some different practices, but different ways to practice different things. And that's okay. You can be learning and still putting yourself out there. I'm still learning. I have a ton of stuff to learn about SeneGence and running a business and building a team and doing all of that. But I'm still going to put myself out there. I'm still going to do it because that's what I envision 2 years from me, Hillary, doing. Is she's out there and she's making lives and people are listening and people are like, I want it. And you know what? That's why I got to just keep creating, keep doing it and keep doing it. So my hope for you is that you find what works well for you. If you're watching this and you are not a SeneGence distributor and you want to be on my team, I would love to have you. I would love to coach you. I've got lots of super awesome information. I've been with SeneGence since January of 2017, so I survived the whole out of stock apocalypse. And I've definitely learned how to work my business in several different venues. I've learned a lot about the business, a lot about the products. I've been to seminar. I've got tons and tons of resources. I'm happy to coach and mentor you, however works best for you. And if you do want to sign up to be on my team, my distributor number is 256578. You can just go on to senegence.com and there's a link to sign up to become a distributor. It's amazing. It's only $55 to join, and then I'll kind of guide you from there. If not, if you're just here to hang out and listen to my lives and be excited about this, I do think that my message carries over depending on, you know, whatever your business is. I think it's very applicable. I think just putting yourself out there is really the key, no matter if you're with SeneGence or someone else, or if you have your own business that's not network marketing. It's very applicable. Like, we all are scared. We're all scared to put ourselves out there. We may not admit it, but, you know, maybe at first we were, and maybe now we're not. But I can say that I still get nervous before each and every live. I still try to talk myself out of it. But once I get vibing on it, I'm like, I'm so happy I did it. It's like working out. It's like, you know, it's like, I don't want to go for a jog. And then, like, after my jog, I'm like, I'm so happy I did that. Like, that's what this kind of is. And I think that you can realize that, you know, once you do it and you put yourself out there and you realize it's not as scary as you think it is, like, I mean, look on my Facebook page. Is anybody like saying I hate you and what blah blah blah? No, there aren't any comments like that on there. Like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're so, like, I love what you're saying. Ah, blah, blah. You know, like, they're all very positive. So, and you know, everybody on your Facebook is either your friends or your family anyway. So I hope that nobody in your friends or family, like, if they're gonna say that on Facebook, you know, like, oh, you suck, you probably already know that that person's gonna say that. So I feel like it probably shouldn't come as a surprise when you, like, post something and then, like, your cousin that you know has attitude is like, you suck. You're like, yeah, you would say that. So, I mean, I don't have that. I'm very thankful that I don't have that. But, I mean, that was just a random point. Anyway, yeah, if you have any questions or you need anything, I'm here. Let me know. I support you. I love you. I'm proud of you for even considering doing all of this. And, you know, I'm happy that if you haven't done a live and you want to go live and you want some support, like, I will do everything in my power to be there. I will be there, and then unless you're posting at like 2 a.m., which is also okay. And see, I just go off on tangents. I'm sorry. Going, like, if you are nervous about what you're saying or like how it's gonna go and you want to test it out, I do suggest going on at like 2 a.m. when probably no one's watching, and then you can just kind of get comfortable with the concept of being live. So if you are nervous about being live and you're like, I don't want anybody to comment and I don't know how this is gonna go, then make a video when you think no one's gonna be watching. That way you can just be like, hey, I made that live. That wasn't so bad. Now I'll make one at 9 o'clock at night or whenever, when you have a lot of higher traffic. I'm making one earlier just because I'm gonna go probably to bed early, so this is just a time that works for me. But I do ultimately try to make live videos when I know a lot of people are going to be on online. But if you're scared to make one and you don't know how it's gonna go, and you just like, or like, I don't know, then make one during a time that you think people won't be on, and then just to say that you did it and get it out of the way. That's some good advice right there. Anyway, okay, well, it is Friday night. I'm tired, and I probably should eat something because I've just kind of been snacking all day. Yeah, all right, well, I hope that y'all have a wonderful day, evening, whenever you're watching this. Send me some love. Let me know that you're out there. Have a good night.